Have you ever wondered what would happen if one of history's greatest legends suddenly turned out to be true? Imagine that somewhere beneath the endless darkness of the Atlantic Ocean, hidden beneath thousands of years of sediment, lies the remains of a civilization so extraordinary that it changed the ancient world before disappearing forever. No map reveals its location. No explorer has ever proven its existence. Yet for more than 2,000 years, one name has refused to disappear from human imagination: Atlantis. Entire empires have risen and fallen. Languages have vanished. Powerful kingdoms have become little more than broken stones scattered across forgotten landscapes. Yet Atlantis continues to inspire books, documentaries, scientific expeditions, and endless debates. Every few years, headlines claim that the lost city has finally been discovered. Mysterious underwater structures appear in news reports, strange satellite images spread across the internet, and forgotten ruins ignite worldwide excitement. But after every investigation, the same question remains: if Atlantis really existed, why hasn't anyone been able to prove it? Perhaps the answer is far more complicated than anyone expected. The story begins nearly 24 centuries ago with the Greek philosopher Plato. Unlike many ancient myths that evolved through oral tradition, Atlantis has a surprisingly clear origin. Plato described it in two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. According to his account, Atlantis was a vast island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, now known as the Strait of Gibraltar. It was home to an immensely wealthy and advanced civilization whose influence stretched across much of the known world. He described magnificent temples covered in precious metals, enormous harbors filled with ships, fertile land capable of feeding millions, and an ingenious network of canals surrounding the capital in perfect circles. To ancient readers, Atlantis sounded almost too magnificent to be real. Yet the most remarkable part of the story was not how Atlantis prospered. It was how it vanished. According to Plato, the Atlanteans gradually became consumed by power. Their ambition transformed wise rulers into ruthless conquerors. As greed replaced virtue, their civilization began to collapse from within. Then, without warning, devastating earthquakes struck. Massive floods followed. In a single day and a single night, Atlantis disappeared beneath the sea, leaving behind nothing but a story that would survive for thousands of years. At first, it sounds like mythology, but history has shown that myths sometimes preserve fragments of reality. For centuries, scholars believed the legendary city of Troy existed only in Homer's poems. Then archaeologists uncovered its ruins beneath layers of earth in modern-day Turkey. A story once dismissed as fiction suddenly became part of real history. That discovery forever changed how historians viewed ancient legends. Could Atlantis also preserve the memory of a forgotten civilization? This question has driven explorers across oceans, inspired archaeological expeditions, and fueled countless debates for generations. Many historians argue that Plato never intended Atlantis to be a real place. Instead, they believe he created it as a philosophical warning about the dangers of arrogance, corruption, and unchecked ambition. Throughout his writings, Plato often used fictional societies to communicate political and moral ideas. From this perspective, Atlantis symbolizes humanity's tendency to destroy itself through greed. It is a convincing explanation. Yet something about Plato's account continues to puzzle researchers. He did not describe Atlantis like a simple myth. He provided remarkable detail, describing its geography, government, military, architecture, natural resources, and even claiming the story had been passed down through earlier generations before reaching him. Such precision feels unusual for a completely fictional civilization. Was Plato simply an extraordinary storyteller, or was he preserving the distant memory of a real catastrophe? History offers many examples of disasters that became legends. Entire cities have disappeared within hours after earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. Survivors tell their children what happened. Generations later, facts slowly blend with imagination until history and myth become almost impossible to separate. If that happened with Atlantis, perhaps Plato was not inventing the story. Perhaps he was recording the echo of an ancient disaster. One civilization has attracted more attention than any other in this search. Long before classical Greece rose to power, the Minoans dominated much of the eastern Mediterranean from the island of Crete. They built magnificent palaces, decorated with colorful frescoes, developed advanced plumbing systems, traded across vast distances, and created one of the most sophisticated civilizations of the Bronze Age. Then nature intervened. Around 1600 BC, the nearby volcanic island of Thera, known today as Santorini, erupted with unimaginable force. It was one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded human history. Ash darkened the sky, enormous tsunamis swept across the Mediterranean, and entire coastal settlements disappeared within moments. For many researchers, the similarities are difficult to ignore. An advanced island civilization, destroyed by a catastrophic natural disaster. Its influence fading until only stories remained. Could this be the true origin of Atlantis? Or is it simply another coincidence that keeps humanity chasing a mystery that may never be solved? The theory is certainly compelling, but there is one important problem. The timeline does not perfectly match Plato's description. According to his writings, Atlantis disappeared thousands of years before his own lifetime, much earlier than the eruption of Thera. That discrepancy has led many historians to believe the Minoan civilization may have inspired parts of the legend without actually being Atlantis itself. If that is true, then where was the real Atlantis? Over the past century, researchers have proposed dozens of locations. Some believe Atlantis once stood near the Azores in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Others point towards southern Spain, where the mysterious civilization of Tartessos flourished. More controversial theories place Atlantis beneath Antarctica, the Caribbean, or even the waters surrounding the Bahamas. Every new claim begins with excitement. Headlines promise the greatest archaeological discovery in history. Stunning underwater images spread across the internet, convincing millions that the mystery has finally been solved. Yet almost every investigation reaches the same conclusion. The evidence is simply not strong enough. One of the greatest challenges is that nature often creates formations that look remarkably artificial. Volcanic activity, erosion, earthquakes, and shifting tectonic plates can produce structures resembling roads, staircases, walls, and even entire city blocks. To the human eye, these formations appear almost impossible to distinguish from ancient ruins. Many supposed discoveries of Atlantis eventually proved to be extraordinary geological formations, rather than evidence of a lost civilization. Does this mean Atlantis never existed? Not necessarily. History has taught us to be careful before dismissing every ancient legend. The story of Troy is a perfect reminder. For centuries, it was considered nothing more than myth, until archaeologists uncovered the remains of a real, Bronze Age city buried beneath layers of earth. That discovery proved that legends can preserve fragments of genuine history, even when centuries of storytelling have changed many of the details. Perhaps Atlantis belongs to that same category. Or perhaps it never existed at all. Modern technology has transformed archaeology beyond anything Plato could have imagined. Satellites reveal structures hidden beneath forests. Sonar maps the deepest parts of the ocean with incredible precision. Underwater robots explore places that no diver could safely reach. Every year, researchers uncover forgotten shipwrecks, submerged villages, and ancient settlements that had been hidden for centuries. And yet Atlantis remains missing. Maybe researchers have been looking in the wrong place. Maybe the real location now lies beneath sediments, buried thousands of years ago. Or perhaps the original story changed so dramatically over generations that even if we discovered the real site today, we would never recognize it as Atlantis. Some historians suggest an even more intriguing possibility. Atlantis may never have been a single city. Instead, it could represent the combined memory of many ancient catastrophes. Throughout history, earthquakes have destroyed thriving cities within minutes. Tsunamis have erased entire coastlines overnight. Volcanic eruptions have buried civilizations beneath layers of ash. Imagine survivors passing these stories to their children for hundreds of years. Details would gradually change. Different disasters would merge together. Small kingdoms would become mighty empires. Ordinary rulers would become legendary kings. Eventually, several real events could evolve into one unforgettable story. If that happened, Atlantis may be less of a place and more of a memory carried across generations. Perhaps that explains why the legend refuses to disappear. It reminds us that no civilization, no matter how advanced, lasts forever. Empires fall. Cities vanish. Nature always has the final word. Whether Atlantis was real or not, its message remains surprisingly relevant today. Humanity has built towering skyscrapers, crossed oceans, landed on the moon, and explored the deepest parts of the sea. Yet earthquakes still level modern cities. Volcanoes continue to erupt. Rising seas threaten coastlines around the world. Technology has made civilization more powerful than ever before, but it has not made it invincible. So, did Atlantis really exist? The honest answer is that no one knows. There's no archaeological discovery that proves Plato's island was real. There's also no definitive evidence proving he invented every part of the story. Somewhere between history and mythology lies a mystery that has survived for more than 2,000 years. Maybe one day an underwater expedition will uncover ruins capable of rewriting history. Maybe a forgotten ancient manuscript will reveal the source of Plato's story. Or maybe Atlantis was never meant to be found. Until that day comes, the legend will continue to inspire explorers, historians, scientists, and curious minds around the world. Because the greatest mysteries are not always the ones we solve. Sometimes they are the ones that continue to make us search, and perhaps, somewhere beneath the silent depths of the ocean, history is still waiting to be discovered.